Okay, hi, and welcome to this class. So in today's class, we're going to be learning about the navigation in React Native using Stack Navigator and the bottom tabs navigator. So here is just a project I created on React Native, and if you look at the project, it just has one screen, which is the index screen that we can see here. So at the end of this project, we'll be able to see bottom tabs here that lead us to different parts of the app, like different screens on the app. Alright, so navigation is just a process of transitioning between screens on a mobile app. So we have two types of navigators. We have the stack navigator and the bottom tabs navigator. Like I explained earlier, the bottom tabs navigator responsible for the bottom tabs that we see around this place that my cursor is. On every app, we must see those bottom tabs. And the stack navigator is responsible for the whole navigation on the app. That is, whatever number of screens that we have, we must register them on the stack navigator to be able to access them in the app. Alright, so let's jump into it. So if we open our app directory here, you can see we only have two files, which is the index file and the root layout, which is simply returning a stack. So we can build from there. But the first thing we need to do is introduce more screens so that we can be able to achieve this. So we're going to create a dynamic screen in the apps folder. That is basically just a folder that's holding other screens. So when I click on the app folder, I can simply right click and create a new folder. Since it's dynamic, I have to wrap it in parentheses. So I'm going to call these tabs. So let's assume that this is where the tabs screens are going to be located. So inside the tabs folder, we can now create our screens. So I'm going to create three screens. The first screen I'm going to create is home.js. And then I'm going to create another screen known as settings.js. And last but not least, about.js. The first thing we need to do is we have to create default functions in all the screens to be able to access them from any part of the app. So let's do one, then we'll copy and duplicate and do the rest. So here I'm simply going to import, we're going to import view. It's supposed to pop up, but it's not popping up, so we might as well do it manually. Okay, let's see if I try to pop up here. So import view from React Native, we're also going to import text from React Native. Here we're simply going to export the default function name. So the function name refers, the function name must start in the caps lock. So since we are in about screen, this function name should be called about. Right. So here in this function, we're simply going to return just let's return a view and a text. So I simply return a view, and inside the view we return a text. And this text will say about screen. Welcome to about screen. About screen. Okay, so I'll just copy this and duplicate on the other screens and then change what is needed. So here I'm going to change the function name to home, and then I change this to what? Home screen. Welcome to home screen. Then on settings also we're going to do the same thing, we paste, and then we'll change the function name to settings. And then this will be what? Settings screen. Alright. So the next thing for us to do is, since we already have these screens here, we need a way to be able to manage all of them. So we're going to introduce a layout here. So in the same tabs folder, we're going to create a file known as layout.js. So this layout is where we're going to now define how our button tabs screens will be. So here we're simply going to import tabs from expo router. We're importing tabs from expo router. Then we're going to write a function export default function. Then we're going to call this function tabs layout. And this is going to return a tabs component. So this is going to return a tabs component here. So we simply call on tabs, just like that. So for us to now register each of these screens about home and settings, we have to call on the tabs.screen. So we call on tabs.screen here, tabs.screen, and it's self-closing. So this has a property of name, and this name property represents the file name. So also the order in which we arrange them here is the order that will appear on the app. So I want to start from home because I want that to be the first. So I pass in the screen name, which is home. Then I can pass in an option here also as a property. This can carry title, which represents the screen title. So here I'll simply pass in home, which is just the title. So we're going to do that for the other screens too. For tabs or screen. Alright, then we're passing the name also. And in this name, the next one is going to be about. Remember, the name must match the file name. So about. Then we can also patch the options here too. So here we'll simply pass in the title, which will be what? About. And then for the third screen, we're going to register the settings too, tabs.screen. And then here we're going to pass in the name also. The name is what? Settings. And then options. You can have title here too, which is settings. Alright. So this is how we set up our tabs layout that is holding these tabs screens. Okay, so the next thing we need to do now that we're finished setting up this tabs layout, the button tabs navigation, the next thing is to set up the stack navigation, which is like the main navigation thread of the app. So that is located in the app folder. When you open the app folder, you see it here. So you can see that it actually returns the stack here, but we want to return the full, not the self-closing stack. The main stack is what we want to return. Yes. Now, if we look at our app, we notice that we are still on the index page, even though we have other screens. That is because we have not yet registered our screens on the main app thread, because the way the app loads is it loads this layout first. The main app layout is loaded before before any other layout in the app folder is loaded. So once the app mounts, it will first load this root layout before going into tabs and loading the tabs layout. So that's the hierarchy in which it works. So here we are going to also register. We're going to register stack.screen, stack.screen, self-closing, and here we're passing name. Remember the name was tally, right? So in this case now we are going to pass in the name of this group folder here. This folder is holding all our button tabs screens and it's a dynamic folder, so we must pass it in parentheses just the way it is spelled here. No, it's spelled in lowercase tabs here, right? And then options, we can put a title also that will point to the tabs. And we also need to register the second screen, which is the index, by calling on stack to screen. So here I pass in name, and the name is what? Index. Options, we're going to pass in title here, which is what? Index. Alright, so if we go back to our app, nothing happens. Okay, let's refresh and see. So we'll just hit refresh. Oh, I see that the app is disconnected. So we're going to connect it again on the emulator. Let me see if I even check it, if it's going to work. Yes, let's reload. That didn't work. Alright, so we have to reload again. Oh, I think my network is disconnected, that's why. So I'll try to connect again to the internet because yes, we need to be online to be able to perform this. Right, so we're back online. Let me go back home here. Reload again. Yeah. Okay, so there are other things we can do. Perhaps we want to show icons representing each of these screens. Right? So here on the home, we can put an icon in the layout rather, in this tabs layout. It also has an option called button tabs. I mean tab bar icon, yes. It's called the tab bar icon. So for us to do that, we first have to find an icon and then we load it. Alright, so okay, good. You see, we have the home screen, we have the about screen, and we have the settings screen. Here, right? So if we want to get rid of this title here that's saying tabs, we can get rid of this title. Even this title home, we can also get rid of it. So how do we do that? We can do it here. We can also do it here in these options by passing, like perhaps in this home folder, I can put a comma and colon header shown, which should be what? False. So if we go back to our app, if you notice that on the home, we can't see that header home screen anymore. We can't see that header that says home. That title rather, the title that says home, you see that we can't see it anymore. But I wouldn't want to do it this way, so we have to, let's do it on all by passing it here in the tabs header. We call on screen option. So this screen option also takes header shown as a property, and this will affect all the screens under this layout. So we pass it first here, right? And if we go back to our app, you can see that all the header is gone. All the titles are gone except for this one that is saying tabs. So the only way we can get rid of this is by doing the same thing on the root layout here. So here inside the stack, I can simply call on screen options too. I'm passing header shown to false. I'm passing header shown to false. So if I go back now, you can notice that all the headers are gone, right? Yes. So like I was saying, we can put icons here if we want by using the option that says tab by icon. Let me see if I can do one. So we import an icon family, for example, material icons, material, um, oh, I think I have to install dependency to be able to do that. What's material icons? Yes, and I have to install dependency to be able to do that. Okay, so that'll be all for this class. I'll see you in our next class.